Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Luke, and this is my review for Foxcatcher. So Foxcatcher is the true story of Olympic wrestler Mark Schultz and the relationship he has with a man by the name of John DuPont. Now these two characters are played by Channing Tatum and Steve Carell respectively, and I'll also mention that Mark Ruffalo is in this film. He plays Dave Schultz, and he is the brother of Mark Schultz, Channing Tatum, and he is also a gold medalist Olympic wrestler, so these two brothers have a lot in common. Now the main showcase, or the main item of this movie, the biggest thing, is the performance by Steve Carell as this maniac, John DuPont. John DuPont is a very strange man, as we learn from this movie, and he becomes really obsessive with things, and in this film he's basically obsessed with wrestling, and that's how he gets involved with the Schultz brothers. He wants them to come wrestle on his ranch and train and become these just Olympic mega men to basically take home all the medals in the Olympics. That's pretty much what John DuPont wants from this movie. He wants to have that satisfaction that America is the best, and that he can raise these two men from the ground and make them these super beings. That's pretty much what I imagine is going through John DuPont's head. Now, I watched footage of the real John DuPont before watching Foxcatcher, and let me just say that Steve Carell embodied this man flawlessly. He gets everything down, from the walk to the way he talks to the way he tilts his head back when he talks. I mean, Steve Carell gives one of the greatest performances of his entire career. You know, it's his best performance. Steve Carell has never been better, and when I watch this movie, he's so transformative. You know, I see him in The Office, and I see him as the 40-year-old virgin, and he's just nothing like that in this movie. This time around, he's more like the 50-year-old virgin, but I mean, he just does such an amazing job just forming into this man. Channing Tatum also does a really good job, probably the best performance we've ever seen from him, and Mark Ruffalo is always great. I love Mark Ruffalo, and he does a really good job playing the brother of this man, Channing Tatum, who's really struggling in this movie. Now, there are problems I have with this movie. First of all, I guess the original cut was about 4 hours long, and they cut about half of that out. The movie's only about 2 hours, not 4 full hours, and I'm sure that the director had a lot of things he had to keep and to get rid of course. As you know, when you cut half of a movie, there are a lot of decisions and sacrifices you have to make, and about halfway through the movie, there's something weird happens. John DuPont and Mark Schultz, for the most part in this movie, have a good relationship, and John DuPont's offering a lot of money to Mark. He's giving him a place to stay, he's feeding him. They have this good relationship, and then something happens in the middle of the movie, and the relationship completely turns around, and it's a really there's this awkward disconnect between these two characters, and it's something that definitely happened, and the movie just did not make it clear as to what happened between the two of them, and maybe that was kind of what they were going for, but to me it was kind of annoying, because for the longest time Channing Tatum is trying to persuade his brother, Dave, to come live on this ranch with him and train with him, but he doesn't really want to, and then once his brother finally gives in and moves out there to train with him, Mark just does not have a good relationship with this man who is giving him all this money, and I didn't really know what happened between those two characters, and I really wish that we could have seen what happened to them. Also, Channing Tatum's character in this movie just didn't really feel that fleshed out, and I really just didn't care that much about him, but I did actually really feel emotionally attached to Mark Ruffalo's character, Dave. He played, of course, the brother in this movie, and he had a family he had to raise, and he had a lot of decisions and sacrifices that his character had to make in order to make life work in this movie, and I really thought his character was nice and fleshed out. And of course, John DuPont, Steve Carell in this movie, was just a really interesting person, and it was just really interesting seeing his character kind of transform throughout this entire movie. Overall, I thought Foxcatcher was pretty good. I think it had kind of a flaw with one of its main characters, but other than that, it's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it a lot, and it's definitely something that's really interesting. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. So you guys, this is Luke signing off. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.